Chapter 13. Something rotten squelched under Wildboy's hands as he crawled through a hole in the sewer wall. A puff of foul-smelling gas rose at his face, making his head whirl and his stomach turn. He gagged and spat in disgust. "Where are we going?" he spluttered. "Somewhere safer," Sir Oswald replied. "I would have moved you sooner, but I feared for your fever. Damned bad one it was too. You kept babbling about some machine. No, the machine, I think it was. Whatever was the meaning of that?" Wildboy grunted, pretending not to know, but he did, all too well. The machine. That was why the hooded man had murdered Professor Wollstonecraft. He was after some sort of machine. The golden-eyed man had spoken of it too. Wildboy wished he knew more, something he could tell the police to prove his innocence. "Watch your head," Sir Oswald said. The tunnel ended in an abandoned basement. A fire smouldered in the corner, and shadows squirmed on bare brick walls. Thin stalactites of filth hung from the low ceiling, dripping brown liquid to the black floor. At the side of the chamber was a dinner table made from objects salvaged from the sewers, a corrugated iron sheet with newspaper napkins and broken bases of oil lamps as bowls. A candle flickered between them, dribbling wax onto the sack tablecloth. Sir Oswald stirred a pot of food over the fire. "It is not exactly St. James's Palace," he said, "but we shall make do." Wildboy couldn't help smiling. Good old Sir Oswald, always making the best of a bad situation. He spotted his coat by the fire. The sleeves were stiff with dried sewage, and there was a tear over the shoulder, but as he slid it on, he immediately felt better. "Where are we?" he asked. "Somewhere under Bermondsey, I think. Wretched district. You two are much better off down here." Wildboy turned. "Two?" Clarissa Everett stepped from the gloom. Underground, the acrobat's face seemed paler than ever. She looked anxiously at Wildboy and the bandage on his shoulder. "Are you—" She turned to Sir Oswald. "Is he all right?" Sir Oswald nodded. "He is indeed, largely thanks to your—" Suddenly Clarissa stormed up to Wildboy and jabbed him hard in the chest. "This is your fault," she yelled. She was so close that flecks of her spit wet the hair on his face. "I should be in the circus tonight, but instead I'm wanted for murder." Wildboy stepped back, clutching his bandaged shoulder. "Circus," he said. "It's them that's after you. If your blimmin' mother hadn't—" "Shut your head about her. She didn't understand." "Some misunderstanding. She set dogs on us, and I wish they'd caught you." Wildboy was about to shove her, but Sir Oswald rushed between them. "Master Wild, Miss Everett, listen here. I have been in tighter squeezes than this, and ridden out with the colours. Ridden with the Iron Duke, by gad." "Tell her if she touches me again," Wildboy said, "she'll be eating sewage." "Master Wild, that is no way to address a lady. Besides, you owe Miss Everett a debt of gratitude. Not only did she save you from the circus crew, but she is also responsible for your rescue down here." Beneath his hair, Wildboy's face reddened. He'd assumed that Sir Oswald had found him and saved his life. "What?" he said. Clarissa shrugged. "I bumped into Sir Oswald after we split up. It was his idea to find you, though. I'd have left you here to drown." "Poppycock," Sir Oswald said. "And, Miss Everett, may I remind you that, as you told me, Master Wild insisted that you run off to save yourself. An entirely noble gesture." "I was just sick of her moaning," Wildboy said. "Enough, both of you. We can discuss what to do over dinner." Sir Oswald carried the cooking pot to the table, waddling awkwardly on the stumps of his thighs. He spooned thick green gunk into the bowls. It was pea soup, and it smelled wonderful. Wildboy plonked himself at the table. "Master Wild, it is customary for a gentleman to allow a lady to sit first." "Don't see no lady, just her." Clarissa scowled. "And I don't see no gentleman, just a freak." Sir Oswald tucked his newspaper napkin into his collar. "Well, bon appetit." For several minutes, the only sound in the chamber was slurping as they drank their soup. Between sips, Wildboy snatched glances at Clarissa. He saw her hand tremble when she raised her spoon, the redness of her eyes, and the salty tracks that stained her cheeks. He couldn't blame her for crying. He could still picture her mother growling, "Get them! Get both of them!" Clarissa slammed her spoon on the table. "I wish I'd never let you free," she yelled. "Well, why did you then?" Wildboy said. "I didn't need your help." "I wish I'd never." "You never shoulda. You look out for yourself, and that's all." "Master Wild," Sir Oswald said, "this is no time for high spirits. Need I remind you that whoever killed those men remains at large? Do you have any idea who the person was?" Wildboy felt a sudden sickness in his stomach, and not because of the soup. "What men?" he said. "Excuse me? You just said whoever killed those men." Sir Oswald patted his lips with his newspaper bib. "Ah, well." "Show him," Clarissa said. "Show me what?" "Well," Sir Oswald mumbled, "I had hoped to wait until you regained your strength. Just show him." With a defeated sigh, Sir Oswald pulled the newspaper bib from his collar. He passed the grease-stained sheet across the table. "Yesterday's Chronicle," he said. "But I wouldn't let it upset you, Master Wild. It is probably a pack of lies." Wildboy took the crumpled page. At first he was too scared to look, but he had to know what was going on. Pulling the candle closer, he began to read. And that's the end of chapter 13. You will have to return tomorrow to find out what was written in that newspaper report, because I can see chapter 14 is all about the newspaper report. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.